All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DreamHack Opens. This is the NA East region, and we just crossed that halfway mark. You're looking at the highlights from game number 3. A ridiculous showing here from Assault, from Booga, and all of the others. It's just going down right now, Shayo.
Absolutely it is, and I'm just vibing out to all these games, the music, the replays. Right now, halfway through NA East, it's a good time, Monster. It's a good time.
Absolutely. What's up next is game 4, so we know that it is time to put up or get left in the dust. We have players that are making strides. We're not seeing any consistency. We're trying to pinpoint some trends that are unfolding, and there's none to be found. These early game engagements, like you said, it's like we're putting names in the hats, mixing it up and just pulling them out, because there are all kinds of players clashing that hasn't been happening in game 1, 2, or 3. So it's just been a huge mix-up.
There still is a little bit of consistency as to who is where on the leaderboards. Right now, Booga's at first, playing, I think, 2 games really well. His first and his third, 8th place in the win that you just saw. Past that, though, a top 25. He's in first place. Coop as well has been playing just phenomenally the whole day. He's been having these 20th place, first place entire performances over time. Regardless, though, as you can see on the standings, people are tied. It's still, as Monster said, kind of different as to who is there past, I would say, 7th place on the leaderboard.
That's right, and this is showing you guys how it's all breaking up right here, how close it's going to be coming in. That's your finals look really quickly as game number 4 is now underway. Let's not forget, this is $250,000 on the line here, guys. So it is a lot at stake here for our Fortnite competitors. The zone, the bus this time around is breaking from north to south now. That means everyone down at the bottom is going to have that late touchdown. And that's what I'm most interested to see too, is how these players are going to disperse down here, because I feel like we have some players struggling coming out of Misty Meadows.
Yeah, Stretch has been one of these names who usually has his drop spot A uncontested, but then B, a very good kind of loop path and rotation all the way into his mid game. So far from the south side, though, it's been pretty chilly, pretty cold for him. He hasn't really gotten to heat up and really contest these top spots.
Thomas, though, we've seen time and time again, we tuned in with, he's actually going to land on the upgraded chest this time around. And look at this, a little bit of a different mix-up here. Players are looking to get aggressive, trying to claim what's his, and he's got the best drop you could ask for. Not only 2 big pots, but an upgraded charge shotgun and an SMG to back it up. So he's got everything he needs to put the pressure down if he needs to.
This is the caddy corner effect, where after game 3 and 4, people frustrated of their drops will start coming to yours. Chewy Pog, Unknown Army, and I believe one other name that just escapes my mind is here too, all fighting out, and they've never dropped here before.
That's right, and it is very interesting to see players like Unknown on the other side here, right? This is where players try to put up the big strides. I love that they can do this, though, having that option to put everything on the table here, put their chips, hedge their bets. On the other side, though, oh my gosh, Thomas with the knock on the door.
A knock to the head with that charge fully prepared and taken. That's a quick way to get your, I would say, adaptive plan ended. Here's Noka, I think, taking out who I can only assume to be scented, but I'll call EMAGG as a beast. And after that, Noka just flies out, has the grappler. That'll be the counter to whoever wins out this engagement over at caddy corner. Thomas is saying, hey, this is actually my drop. This is not just some place you can come into randomly and try to win.
Look at this. Thomas just found Kit lingering behind him. So where we thought Unknown might have been able to snatch up Kit's loot, no, instead it is going to be Thomas here who's going to get it, and the Vote key card as well, with the compact upgrade too. So this is just a perfect storm for an early game dive in if you really want to. And someone is going to do just that. It's going to be Unknown Army, but this is where Thomas wants you. He wants the close range engagement because he's playing from a different region. He's looking up barrel stuff too. It's going to be a matter of who can connect with a better shot. Unknown, though, playing the mind games here, back and forth, lingering around the 155. Oh my gosh, even with the Marauders pinging him from the side, it doesn't matter. Thomas is going to win the trade here, and Unknown is sent back to the lobby.
Thomas gets to live for just a little second. There is, I think, one person still available and left at caddy corner who might have thrown that snipe. He's gonna go back to looting completely. He's on the E on the mini map, just so it's a little bit more specific for y'all watching at home. I know there's a lot of henchmen who are just walking around from Kit's little hideout, but still good for Thomas, holding down the spot from people who thought they could just walk in and go with business as usual.
That's it, man. He sent Unknown right back to his shiny new apartment home. It's over. Thomas, though, has control of the Volt now. He can do as he pleases with this drop spot. He's big chilling here. The wide shot's going to give you guys a nice look of the chaos that just unfolded here. Man, 2 major eliminations of the 3 players that landed here. Not too shabby for Thomas from EU.
That's interesting, though, Thomas's story today. He's had, I think, 2 games with these items. I know it's EU, so maybe that might be it. It might be the ping, but he's only sitting at 30th place so far. I would expect someone to get at least 1 game of Caddy Uncontested to be at the top, at least top 10, top 5. He's got it twice, I believe, completely free. Once right there with a little bit of a fight. And now this is the 2nd time with him having the loot. I'm curious to see what's actually going wrong with his game plan.
Yeah, I think actually the second game, he did not get the kit's loot. That might have been the one that he kind of fizzled out on. Remember, we're only just passing that halfway mark, so championship runs typically have about 1 game that you can toss out the window. In a 6-game format, you might be able to get away with 2 bad games and 4 really good ones. We'll see. He basically needs a perfect run from here forwards. Oh my gosh. The jumping, hip fire, the accuracy on the hunting rifle. Absolutely slept on here. Nick hits a ridiculous shot.
The plays start to play a little bit more loose as the competition goes on. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of that game number 1 stackiness. We will be seeing maybe a few trick shots if you keep tuning in with Nick.
This is a fight that's been going on over and over, game after game. Stretch versus Avery. Now it's happening here at the Rickety Rig. What is happening? It looks like he's almost gunning for one another at this point. Let's see it. Stretch, 30 points in, as the ramp has the advantage up over Avery. Avery defaulting to the box stance, to a defensive stance, goes for the harpoon shot. Not gonna find the mark. That was close though, almost snuck one in there. Here it is, the crash pad on out, the 81 on the flick across, and yes, you can't get away. The hip fire from the SMG is gonna be just accurate enough to take out Avery, and now the Rickety Rig is his.
The playground is his. It's just nice to see that in this fight, Stretch is learning, didn't really take any damage at all, and was just in control most of the time. Although Rig is not in zone, this fight did happen really fast, so we'll be able to just catch up on time, catch up on the materials, I think, is what he really needs. An AR to boot, and Stretch's game is finally on. Now, we did say Misty Meadows before. I guess he just switched a little bit further left towards the south, but I'm curious to see what his game plan will be in the next few games, too.
100%. We'll see if he's done his homework here on the drop spot. Commandment, though, v Fiber. This is a bit of an iconic fight going on right here. Let's see how it's going to go down. The big shot from Fiber, though, turned things back. All of a sudden, he still has a big pot, too, so you can tell he was tagged first, but the responsive shots is going to be enough. It's Assault. When did he come into the mix here? I don't know, but Commandment punishes him for stepping into the fight, and now Assault has to run back to go on to defense. Let's not forget, Assault was taken out so early in the previous game. In the mid game, though, it wasn't his early game that was an issue. This is a scary 3-way battle that's going on right now. No one being passive, all of them trying to get in the mix, seeing who can get pinched first. Assault right now is the pressure from Fiber.
He's in positions, actually, that are getting the most pressured out of these 3 players. Fiber's at low point, so he doesn't care about the Storm. He might just want to get 1 elimination first. If anything, some damage on either player. He's going for it. Now Commandment is in between Assault and Fiber, so Assault could choose to disengage completely or take the high ground overall. He's going up top. Does he see the shot? No. And no builds either. An insane trade that I don't usually see. There was no defense there from either player. Fiber's also waiting to the last second to block off shots from Commandment. These guys are playing way too loose, but as a result, Commandment falls all the way down. He's not taken out just yet. Fiber has some time to breathe.
That right there might have been enough to take Assault out of the running now.
Oh,
that is so rough. Commandment as well, who's just gonna lose the exchange here to Fiber and gets taken out of the competition too. You're talking 2 big dogs on leaderboard. Coming into this game, Commandment was in 6th place. Assault was still clinging onto his placement somewhere towards the top as well, just barely. And that, my friends, is going to show you guys how it's all going to unfold. Fiber, though, steals away a bit of glory here, and now he has to find his way to the zone with his 3 med kits. Somewhat of a signature hold, too, from players like Commandment, known to tank the zone here and play late into the rotates.
I just don't know why you would do that in that moment from the points you're at, the position basically in the tournament that you have right now. I understand what Fiber wants to do. He wants to get as many eliminations as possible fast, really ramp up and catch up. And he has the medkits to do it. But for Commandment, for Assault, I think they were just stuck between a rock and a hard place and couldn't really have the room to move.
That's the thing. It's just their play style, too. I mean, that's why we talk about Commandment fizzling out in these grand finals that you want to see him do well. He's just not going to find his mark. Someone who is going to be hitting the money here, though, it's going to be Scrubs. That's going to be a big point for him. On the other side, it's Booga on the rotate right now. 189 points. Let's not forget, he is in first place right now. And just, you can tell he's feeling it. He's going to box up for a split second, get the tags, pause the enemy, and then rotate on out. Not trying to be stuck here at the whim of the opponent on the hill. A little replay there, the jumping hip fire. We're going to run it back twice for you guys just to see it there.
Sometimes you got to get stylish. I think Booga's trying to keep it textbook, but Thomas is not letting him have it. I think it was game 1, actually, that Thomas didn't have the shockwave launcher. Game 2, Booga, I think, ended up box diving into his box while he did have it. And then it completely just took him out. So for this one, a little bit of revenge, at least from tags. Booga will have the shields to survive and keep moving out.
Here it is. This is the zone where you want to try to get as deep as possible. Give you a little bit of zone favor moving forwards. Just to analyze Booga's situation right here, guys. 96 builds. Not a lot of shotgun ammunition as well. So you can tell that he is just trying to do with what he can find. On his heels, I believe, is Day right behind him, using him as baits, quite literally, and Jack in front of him. But wait a second, this might be a punishment from Booga. Oh no, the shark charges in, and the shots from all the angles, and he is out now. Assault Marauder is going to be the one that concludes the elim there, so the stinkers. What? The Marauder, the shark, the lobby? Hello? Welcome to Fortnite.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was just like, that was Booga versus, I would say, season 3. And let's just say season 3 went out on that one.
All right, ladies and gents, we are going to throw that in the VODs. What happened there, but dude, take a look at this. Thomas is actually going to find slacks there. That's massive for the impact here. But hold up, Lobby looking to jump in now. A little pre-edit on accident with the wall. He's going to fix that into the moment here. And oh no, looks like he's got the attention of everyone else. Bully's going to step up as well, trying to see what he can do, if he can get a piece of this. Bully steps into the box. Yes, the well-timed execution there, and takes out Thomas, who was creeping his way up the leaderboard. He was at 95 points, almost back into the top 10, top 20 conversation.
It was close, but another game where he doesn't get to hold on to the loot that he gets from his spot. So he falls even further down. I'm not sure what type of risks are being taken. Maybe it's just not a good enough base that defends against crash powders from a distance away. There's this old saying where if you make a mistake, you should look maybe 2 zones behind to see where you ended up making the wrong decision. I think that goes the same for the bases you're making, especially with top tier loot. Look maybe, I don't know, 2 instances away from where someone could crash pad and possibly get to your box fast, and plan for that. Look for a contingency, place an extra wall, make an extra box. Maybe that's what Thomas needs to do. Either way, he's not going to be seeing this game.
The irony there as well is that the crash pad is a high ping player's dream and nightmare in this situation, because it gives you the free entry into any box, which is arguably the hardest part about playing with disadvantages. So you're going to see the blessing and the curse being handed out there. And now Thomas is going to have to hit back that drawing board. His game 4 is now concluded, ended, wrapped. Here's Coop, though. Someone who's trying to unwrap his situation right now. Open up the gift. Let's see what he's going to get. 167 points right now. This is your second place. This is your champ right now. Want to see if he swaps over. to that first place spot. Can he snatch it back from Booga? Can he have another consistent game?
I want to see the difference in his kind of game plan, his game style. He's really just waiting to rotate, I would say, in the center mass of the lobby. Play the tag trade game. Or literally, I would say, play tag with people. You know, one person beams one guy, that guy looks for a shot back or a shot at anyone else because he stops a little bit while moving. I mean, we can see that with Coop's inventory. He's been taking and trading tags the whole way through. Starts for it again. He won't push this fight. That's the key here. It's about taking tags, stopping people, and moving forward. He's taken a few himself, 50 HP overall, 5 less minis too, and a few crash pads thrown down. This will get you to where you need to be for the end game, and then allows you to play while knowing exactly where everyone is around you who rotated with you. It's genius.
This is actually crazy. The decision now of whether or not he wants to pause here or keep it going. He's kind of have to, as his shield gets cracked and his smack is on the other side. You see how he sets up the crash pad cone through, and he's gonna try to do it again here. Coop, smarter than that though. He recognizes what's happening. Smack trying to look to take the wall here. I mean, it's easily telegraphed at this point. It's a matter of whether or not Coop just wants to sit here and actually take this fight. Holding the wall though is getting the advantage. He loses it this time. Edits out. Elevates himself as well. This is the worst place to take a fight. Low ground, mid game. All the players on the mountain nearby, on the edge of zone where players are going to land in. Smack, desperate though, takes it toe-to-toe with Coop. Coop wins the exchange in the first shot. Let's see who's going to come out on top as things start to get caught up. It is Coop.
No
it's
way.
Your champ. Sit down, Smacked. Not here, not today. Should have known better. When you step to the best, that's how that one's going to play out.
I mean, Smack brought the ingredients. He was ready to get cooking, but it's Coop that puts him in the absolute blender, the khalata, and it's over for him right there. Easy pickings, and now he has so many mats and materials to work with.
On the other side, though, Durant here with the Fortilla loot. Trying to work around these enemy builds here. He's going to push his way through. It's not going to be enough. It's Acorn, the player that took second place in the last game. Went from last place, quite literally, 0 points coming into the game, to a 78-point game. Thrusting his way up, propelling his way up the food chain into the leaderboard now. Making sure that everyone knows, hey, he's going to be a threat this time around. Taking the big pot here is the easy indicator that he's looking to take this bottomless chug jug into the rest of the game. Snazy, one of the best EU players, one of the best players who can operate on high ping with adversary. Still doing pretty decent this time. 84th place. The last time he was in these finals, grand final situation, he took a 5th place on NA East from EU. So he's already proven he can do it in this meta. And this is how he does it. Just the key positioning, the key frags in the mid game here.
Yeah, you trade ping basically for position. That never actually goes down. The calls you want to make, the boxes you want to really take, the mountains you want to put your name on, and just the positions don't really get affected by ping. Past that, PCH is just trying to find a way to survive. Snazy with 89, very similar situation to Acorn, I would say. Same kind of point situations. He's been seeing a few end games here and there, but once again, struggling to really get all the way up top in a top 10 where he's used to being. Now, once again, just milking the situation, this late rotate to get past a lot of boxes underneath many players and then over this mountain. Where will he stop, though, is the question. He actually stops a little bit further behind, stopped by a few of these players. Inside a metal box, he'll be able to look back and see anyone else wanting to come up or anyone slipping in front of him with some shots.
This is one of the best places to have a launch pad now, too. One of the greatest zones, the one with all this crazy elevation. Jeff here, though, on the storm line right now, struggling to get his rotate on in. He's got the eyes of Snazy, the focus of Snazy on him. On the other side, it's Rokane who's battling down there as well. These guys are super tagged up. One tag is all it's going to take. Yes, Snazy's going to step out, trying to see if he can get the angle here to do something big. And there's a moment. There's a pixel. He hits it even with the high ping. It doesn't matter here. Rokane now is going to fall here to Snazy. His 3rd elimination this game. 94 points. Out comes the crash pad. He wants to get a little deeper into the storm here, or into the zone.
So there's 4 people, none of them really EU. On the top side of the zone, I think these guys will be the controllers of the rest of the lobby. Castery, Nick, all side by side too. We've seen how influential Castery can be when he gets into a box or near one. Jack is there too. I feel like this time people will start to slow down, especially with a mountain, and really try to play position. If one person, I would say, messes up and goes for a fight that's too long, he's in a domino effect and hold everyone else back. This is about the lobby playing in unison, the lobby playing perfect.
That's right. This is a solos game, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you need a little bit of cooperation to get yourself through these zones here. You're seeing the crash pads being recycled out. The wide zone rotates. How many players are looking to go on these outskirts? And now, as everyone's getting moving here, Buckty has to make a decision whether or not he wants to launch pad himself or make the mad dash to the one that's across from him as he hears the players using it. Here's a wide shot with the player still in the game on the backside to make the late rotates. Acorn, Shark, Crumbler, Technique. On the front side is already safe. Crims, Virus, Noka, Aspect, Edgy, P-God, and many others now. And I'm liking the positioning actually of those that are favoring that upper portion of the mountain. Let's not forget, this is still a mountainous terrain. So you don't want to get too deep here. You might just want to play it safe and stack on top of the other enemies instead of going down the mountain here.
If you're a long-time Fortnite player and you've watched competitions, the easiest way to explain this zone is just remember polar peaks. Remember, if you've ever played in any of these scrim lobbies, what happens if you all in and try to get a little bit safe, save your mats for low ground. If that zone ends up bouncing back, if it goes towards the bottom right, pay attention to that mini map in these next 5 seconds. It could be over for a lot of these players on the left. It will pull towards way over on the left side. So we're leaving the mountain completely, but we're going into a ravine. So these players towards the end of the zone really have to consider where they're ending their movement rotation.
That's right. They will start to stack on top of one another. This is going to shape out to be a Tetris effect. We'll see. As now Scrubs has a decision to make. He's looking to set up that crash pad. Is he going to go early this time? Looks like he's already prepared. Yes, he wants to get ahead of this zone. So this means that he's going to be at the bottom of the totem pole here. If he's going first, because he's going to be branching his way up and sliding his way down the mountain most like. Unless he does this, sits back and tries to beam players on the storm line. Okay, employing the different strategy, the more aggressive strategy. He wants to play for the frags this time. This is going to expose him a little bit, but let's see if it's worth it. Yes, he's going to find buddies who's going to fall down. The one headshot's going to be enough. And now that's enough for him to say it's time to cut out. Another launch pad on down. The crash pad here off the side of the mountain. Back with Buckty's perspective, though. He's trying to do the same thing here. Just looking back at the storm line, trying to find as many pings as possible.
Anyone moving as fast as possible right now towards the front side is really looking for safety first. Nice pickup on Inspire. He ends up going down on that rotation. Anyone moving late or segmented is looking for a better position overall, but there's a risk. You could just impact yourself negatively, get into someone else's box by accident, just like Bucky did. Nice escape there, though, overall. He controls the fuel walls. He's going back for Jamper. What dynamic decision-making, reasoning, and movement. Someone else, though, slides right in. He's on shambles. Joji taken out in a blink of an eye. Bucky now, 2 eliminations, is moving way late, but because of that, gets to recycle, gets to play for information, and then stay above and up top. A risk that ends up paying off after a crucial fight.
And P-God takes out Kiko and Nexi, by the way. Edgy's gonna find 2 in the feed as well onto Shark and Cobalt. And this is how things are lighting up right here. This is what happens when the zone pushes far and across where no one's built. Players are gonna be burning through material like crazy right now. So what we're gonna see is the lobby literally start to delete themselves as they're gonna be forced onto one another and into each other's boxes just to stay alive here. But it's Buckty who's still trying to do something big right now. 2 elims already onto key frags. Can he find Day? Yes, Day was in the top 5 as well. And now Day's getting taken out of the competition. Not before a great run, though. Here, Justice trying to do something big for himself. Can he thrust his way into top 10 is going to be the question now. 1 crash pad remaining. Resources getting lower and lower as he's trying to elevate his way on down.
Everyone has to just keep cycling over and over again. Right now, new zone, have to build new mats over for your own safety. OMG need 2 up top skills, jumping up and not paying attention. He takes shots on the Justice, but he's not relevant right now. Acorn is all the way sky high. It's a launch pad though. He can't take shots from in midair. Class going down, went way too deep inside that storm. Acorn could get those mats if he's fast enough. He's controlling low. He's the isolated solo player that no one can touch right now, making moves in this zone. Buckty is in the middle, looking at everyone and everything simultaneously. simultaneously. Can he find the right shots? That's the question. On the right side of your screen, Kyra, all the way on height, has to fall down, takes a few shots. Justice is rising up through multiple builds, looking for his own way to survive. Low mats right now, but he's in a cone, looking to see what he can do next. Bully is up high, uninterrupted, unaffected. He's shooting shots down to the server as they pull back up the mountain. Acorn has to climb up, crumples on his box. Bully is still looking top down on a perspective that's absolutely free. Me Too gets taken out by Justice. Acorn taken out by teammate Jack. And Kyra finds a reverse onto Bucky. Chaz gets kills. It's happening right now. Your top 4 are going to be Justice plus a few more. Who will end up winning out this game? Sky high, it's the final moment.
That's it. Justice still getting it in right now. 5 eliminations and Bully somehow still staying alive with no material. All through the top. It doesn't matter. Justice is going to walk through him. The tack attack is going to find his connection. And another one to follow up onto Jack, making that a 7 Elim victory royale. Didn't even need the shockwave launcher in the final moments there.
Oh my God. All right, Justice surviving 7 eliminations the entire time. What a game to see. How will it affect the standings? Let's find out after this short break.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and right now we're gonna go through some trivia. So break out those 200 IQ brains and show me what you got.
Another incredible game done here at the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. We are 4 games into our North American East Grand Finals, and what an incredible 4 games it has been. But with 2 games left, it looks like things are finally starting to solidify of who our top players are going to be and who is going to be taking away the ultimate W. I'm your host, Hello Kelly Lincoln, calling all of the action for the grand finals. It's none other than Shia Wager and Monster D Face. Let's talk a little bit about what we've seen so far and what we're expecting to see, because it seems like we're seeing kind of the same top 10 players take the lead here. So Shia Wager, do you think that's what we're going to be seeing, or is there possibilities from some of the underperforming players to take over these last 2 games?
On the last game, we saw Justice really just rise up, and past that, a lot of people get impact eliminations all throughout the end game that didn't before. So I feel like things will change up. How much, though, is the question that will be answered once we see standings.
Yeah, Monster, going into or talking about game number 4 there, was there anything that really surprised you, or was it just kind of par for the course?
Yeah, no, I think things are just kind of cruising right here. Like we said, in the nighttime sky, we're seeing those occasional shooting stars cross the field. But for what it's worth, all the big ones are shining. They're shining bright. And that's why that leaderboard has been relatively stable, which is not something you typically see in a Fortnite setting, especially over the course from beginning to now, way past the halfway mark. We're only in the final stretch here for the last 2 games. So
yeah, let's actually remind ourselves what exactly happened in game number 4 there with a highlight reel.
All right, jumping straight into it, we'll see exactly what broke down early game. Thomas HD making sure no one is landing now at his drop spot. Maybe some people come through in game 5, who knows, but he's holding it down there. Across the map, though, everyone was on defense mode.
that's right, and this is one of those big fights that are occurring here. Players like Liquid Stretch, who is off to quite an interesting start. He's found those early game elims, and this is probably one of the flashiest ones we've seen. Through the build, onto flick, the jumping hip fire. You just had to run that one back, and this is what I meant by players getting shut down, though. Commandment was taken out early, Assault there as well, Epic Whale. So 3 big names in succession all taken out, all of which were having great times on the leaderboard.
Yeah, snipes all the way around too. That wasn't just the first one we saw. Thomas took out Slacks afterwards, but then ended up getting taken out by himself by Bully, I believe, all the way towards one of those end game spots. And that was the final 3v3 that we saw. A mountainous zone going down to a ravine, getting picked up by Justice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Game number 4 is done, and we're going to be jumping into game number 5 in just a moment, chat. But I do want to look even more deeply into game number 4. So let's actually pull up the map. And Monster, let's talk a little bit about some of the action that we saw in that last game.
Yeah, we saw briefly there on the highlights, but it's players like Liquid Stretch. We've seen Stretch come back in end game tournaments, literally 2-3 games left, and all of a sudden he comes online. That is the question. I thought Stretch originally, who lands on somewhere inside the Misty Meadows, was going to continue that drop spot, but this is what we mean, the volatility coming into Grand Finals Day. He's actually over at Rickety Rig from what we saw in that previous game, besting players like Avery in the early game. Then on the other side, you have your champ, right? You have Bugga at the top of the chain right now, literally leading the brigade here as far as the standings go. He's been doing so well out of Frenzy Farm, and we know after that insight into game 1, he was down at the bottom portions. He's getting contested here. We have about 2, 3, maybe 4 players in the Frenzy Farm area, but he's finding keys to his success. So I'm very interested to see a deeper look later on in that early game and how he's finding his successor.
Yeah, while these guys are fighting people off spawn, we've seen things all the way through mid-game that are happening across the map on movement. So like Sweaty moving to Salty Springs, we saw some issues overall. I think it was Commandment, Assault, and one other player who were fighting all the way in tandem back inside zone. And when you have different point players fighting each other, there's different reasons to fight. If you're high points and just want a few tags and maybe go into a box fight and a low point player comes over, that's trouble for you. Same thing when it goes from Caddy all the way to Lazy, past this little river part, and anyone coming in from Dirty Docks. All these kind of center portions of this map, like on this circle, not actually in the circle, but on this circle, that's where we're seeing a lot of fights actually break out. And Misty sometimes is where it happens from if anyone's coming down all the way from Cape Cod. So it's really interesting seeing exactly where these mid-game fights are taking place and how many people can really actually chime in, hit this circle, and then look for a fight either way on either side for anyone who's kind of stuck on rotation.
Let's remind ourselves just before we jump into game number 5, everyone, what our top 20 players are on our leaderboard. Let's see if Booga is still in first place. And no, it is actually going to be Coop in first place. And that lead is stretching ever so more now with 214 points over Booga's 189 points. And Coop to do that without a victory royale is quite impressive. In fact, the rest of the top 9 here don't have a victory royale besides Booga. Lee Kura, one of the players that we actually got to interview at the end of Heat 2 going into the semifinals today, was very confident and pretty relaxed about it. We always talk about mentality, so it's really good to see that that confidence did transition over into the semi and grand finals today. 4th place is going to be Crumbler, and 5th place is Daxer. Definitely seeing some new names up here in the top 5, but then as we go a little bit more down, we see players like Skittles, Day, Aspect, Edgy, the players that we're used to seeing here in the top 20.
For sure. And let's just talk about the fact that Likura, Booga, Coop all are tied up for Elim points literally across the board. The only difference makers that Coop made it to endgame again that time around, or just a little bit further than Booga did. Let's not forget, Booga was hit by every AI in the book. You know, he got the most unlucky situation there in the waterway. He got hit by the shark, the marauders, and then all the players, you know, all the grumpy players based up on the mountain too. So that's how Booga's game was ended. Not ideal, definitely a big setback, but that allowed players like Coop to continue his consistency and take the lead now.
Yeah, what I'm seeing too is the pure organization, clan, whatever it is, rising up to past into the top 10. And then a lot of other people who have been top 10, maybe shuffling down into that 20th place slot. So I want to see if these guys are angry about it, want to rise up. I want to see what the mentals are, checking in with all these players, especially Booga. And, you know, Coop is literally sky high right now. First in FNCS, I'll say it again. And now first today, going into game 5, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be impressed with Coop, but I do want to talk a little bit more about Booga, because saying the word unlucky, it always is a little odd to say that in a competitive game such as this, because you can't really control your luck, but maybe he could. What could Booga have done differently in game number 4 so that he wasn't taken out in 75th place?
Go ahead, Shia. You talked
Austin,
about
you wanna take this one, bro?
reviewing your last
Hey,
so
you want to take this one, bro?
Hey, man. No, listen. It is what it is, okay, Kelly? That's what it is.
Say that again, Monster.
It is what it is, all right, Kelly?
It is what
That's
it is. Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, we're going to find out how exactly our top players are going to be performing in game number 5 in just a moment, everyone. We do have a quick break, so don't go anywhere because we have game number 5 after it.